Good evening. I'm happy that FFSI Kerala has organized this festival as a kind of Guru Dakshina to Adur Gopalakrishnan. I'm also very happy that instead of they are giving an opportunity to film lovers to see Adur's all his seven of his selected films, so that one gets a glimpse of the kind of worldview which he was trying to project through his films. Adur, as Joseph has said, has done about 12 feature films and 50 documentaries, around 50 documentaries in a career spanning 5 decades. A friend of mine asked why only 12 films in a career spanning 50 years. I said that is because he's very meticulous in his craft and meditative and reflective in his content. When I say this, what I am trying to say is something different. Is one among the 3 filmmakers whose oath I am quite fascinated. I find it very fascinating. The other 2 being Ray and Mrinal Sen. Whereas we have very many filmmakers who very effectively tell the story, but there are very few who can articulate through his films a kind of an idea which make the viewer introspect, and Adur is one such person. He achieves this quality by his unique cinematic style and content, which are both regional at the same time universal. And this is the special quality of Adur Gopalakrishnan, which fascinate me all the while. Because he is not only interested in telling what is happened to the story, or to put it other way, what is said as important as how it is said. That's why Adur's films become so reflective. Adur's films make the viewer introspect. Few years ago, Films Division has asked me to make a documentary on Adur Gopalakrishnan. I called up Adur Gopalakrishnan to tell him that I am basically a feature filmmaker. I have never done a documentary in my life. So he, told me to do whichever approach that I would like to do about his films. In fact, I thought this could be a very interesting form for me to understand his idiom, his approach to cinema, and his philosophy of life. So I decided not to make films about his life or about his biography. I was told that there are quite a few documentaries on his films. So I decided I would make a film about his idiom, about his approach to life through cinema. Fascinating journey for me, because in the process I understood not only his or his style of filmmaking, but I also understood the essence of his films, the essence of films that make you think. All his films are deeply rooted in ethos of Kerala. If you look at his films, we are not only looking at story, but he also makes you look at the life and the spirit of the people of Kerala. He borrowed a lot of things from the Kerala cultural traditions. One can see Kodiyattam, one can see the influence of Kodiyattam, the influence of Kathakali, influence of Kerala literature in his works, and also Gandhian philosophy. That's something which is very fascinating. The way how he, without being preachy, he makes films wherein he brings in all these kind of elements. The other thing, I'm sure many of you have mm, have already noticed in his films, is how these films lend themselves to multiple ways of interpretation. When I say multiple ways of interpretation, if it is just merely a story-bound narrative films, then you are bound to one kind of interpretation. But since Adur uses the idea as the foundation of film, one can always interpret it in so many ways. So that is one of the reasons why his films gives you a new perspective every time one watches it. I have watched some of his films multiple times, and every time I have seen a new dimension in the film, new approach about the life and philosophy through his films. I'll quote one or two films. If you just ask for the uh, story plot of the film, one can say it in just one word. What is Elipatham is about? A man who is caught in his own system. But is Adur talking about that? No. If you look at it, then you understand it. You can understand the whole film from multiple uh, perspectives. Similarly, the Mugamakam. I very often wonder, is it a film about a failed revolutionary, or is it a film about a man and his image? Is the protagonist what is it, a labor leader, or is forced to become a labor leader? Similarly, even in Anantaram, one can see such an approach. Is it real or is it imagined? Because there are many, incidences in any of the film where one can always say the fantasizing of our youth comes from our mythology, from our popular culture, from our background. And Adur Gopalakrishnan is talking about that. So it's not just about mistaken identity, but it's about whole understanding of our upbringing, whole understanding of our culture, our history and politics. That's how I very often say Adur is one filmmaker who has been making films which yields itself to multiple narration and multiple interpretation, and repeated view of Adur Gopalakrishnan films enriches our understanding of the life around us. In this sense, Adur is a major influence in Indian cinema, major influence in the Indian society as such. So I am really thank Joseph and the FFSI Kerala for organizing this festival and for organizing for asking me to inaugurate this festival. I hereby declare it open. I also thank the other people, other members in this one, like Adur Gopalakrishnan, VK Joseph, and Premendra Mazumdar, Vipin Vijayan, and all the other FFSI Kerala members and the participants for bearing me. Thank you very much.